Good day, fellow Jersey Nerds, and welcome to episode 37 of the Jersey Nerds podcast, powered by HockeyJerseyConcepts.com. I am your host, Ryan, and on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the new Guelph Storm logo, the Maine Mariners new sweaters, and of course we'll have Fake or Authentic, the HJC Mailbag, and Throwback Throwdown. And you're always welcome to get involved in our conversations by connecting with us on Twitter at HockeyJC, or you can email us anytime, mailbag at HockeyJerseyConcepts.com. Joining me on the podcast today is Saturday's writer, Steve. What's going on, Steve?
Sunday, you mean? But yes,
Sunday.
I'm good. How about yourself?
Well, I guess I don't know what day I write anymore, but yeah, Sunday's writer, Steve. Did you used to write on Saturday at any point?
Tuesday.
I lose track of everyone's day. Yeah. So you can tell what kind of day it's been for me. We're recording this on July 1st, which of course is Canada Day. So I've been out all day. Just finished up blowing up some fireworks and then cleaning up after ourselves. It's just been a gong show of a day. So here we are recording a podcast now. So if you're listening this week, happy Canada Day. And of course, if you're listening later on in the week, happy Independence Day. But let's move on from that. Also on this week's podcast, Friday's writer, TC. What's going on?
Not much. Spent the day having a grill out at the pool. Got thoroughly sunburned and ready to podcast.
That's how you celebrate Canada Day down in the southern U.S. right there. That's good stuff. All right. Everyone's here and accounted for, so we better get started. And our first topic today is going to start in the OHL with the Guelph Storm, who released a new logo this past week. And it's an update on their current logo, the kind of Storm mascot, if you will. The cartoony character is now a forward-facing logo, and the font Guelph Storm has been updated. So on the white jersey, which for the first half of the season is the home jersey, it says Storm in bigger letters with Guelph just above that. And on the red jersey or maroon jersey, which is the road jersey for the first half of the season, Guelph is the bigger font on that jersey. It's an updated, more rounded font. The jerseys are staying the same from what they've had the past 3 years, but this is an updated logo. I'm really loving this look. I love the forward facing. I love the modern kind of new look to it, but it still keeps with the same theme that they've been using. And I think the font upgrade is also exceptional here. Steve, what do you think of this logo here, the new Guelph Storm logo?
Am I the only one that thinks it looks like a Goomba from Super Mario Brothers?
No, I saw that too, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's not too bad. But I
mean, that's not a bad thing, and I think it's a definite improvement over what they had, because it kind of seemed like the last one was just very, not really mean, but more just like upset. You know how like when a little girl pushes her bottom lip out, she gets all angry and everything. It looked like that. Now this one it looks like it's just utterly pissed off, and it's like if you get in its way, it's just going to mess you up and doesn't care and keeps going. So I definitely think it's an improvement for them.
Yeah, definitely looks angrier in a good way too. I mean, I like that.
Yes, in a good way.
Yeah, it's a junior league team, so I'm totally on board with the fact that it's a cartoony logo. Like it may be looked down upon if this was a professional league, NHL or even AHL, but it's the juniors. It's a cartoony logo, but it still has some aggression to it, and I think the colors really work really well with this logo. But TC, what do you like and dislike about this logo?
I think it's a huge upgrade for Guelph. I think kind of like what Steve said, the last logo looked more like it was leaving the room in a huff, like it hadn't gotten away. This one is much more menacing with the head on. I will say I do like the idea of having the different word emphasized on each jersey. So one has Guelph in the larger font and one has Storm in the other font. I think that's a great way to play it off for home and away games. I know that they switch halfway through the season, but I do think it's a great way to shake things up a little bit instead of having the same word mark across the two. And I think it's a much better use of their color scheme than the previous one.
Yeah, the previous one was very gray. But also the updated font, it wasn't a bad choice. On the old logo is a block font arched just above this Storm character. But this new font, it's not a completely new font. It's been used elsewhere. If you're a wrestling fan, you'll notice that the font very much matches the old SmackDown font. So it's not necessarily a new font, but it's definitely an upgrade over the old font that was just a block logo. I don't know if you guys agree with me on that one, or just thoughts on how they incorporated this word mark into the new logo. Steve?
You know what I was going to say, because I was just going to add in, they did do something similar to that where they had Storm on the white jersey up top and Guelph on the dark jersey up top before it's the old logo. And I mean, I just think that the new logo now really does a much better job of incorporating it that way instead of just putting the word Storm or Guelph. They have both words on there, but they were able to cohesively put emphasis on one in the other without the logos looking too different. They almost look identical, but if you look at them side by side, you can tell they're the exact same. There's slight differences is what I mean.
Yeah, I agree. And just taking a look at the old logo in front of me, it almost looks like they could have gone on without the word mark in the old logo. They could have just used the cartoony Storm character, whereas now it looks like that it's part of the logo. Like if you took it out, there would be quite a bit missing. It would be hard to make up.
It'd be awkward.
It would be very awkward. TC, I don't know if you have any thoughts on just the word mark that's included in the new logo versus the old one.
I do, and I think y'all make valid points that if you do take the word mark away here, it will take away a lot from the logo. It's much better incorporated here than it was on the previous. And while it is not a completely new font, I think it's a much better choice. The use of fonts in logos, I've just never been a big fan of, with the exception of like very, very historic teams that are trying to pay tribute to that. It's the go-to lazy font in my eyes, and I'm just not a big fan of it. If you want to use it in your numbers, fine. Nameplates, fine. But on your main crest, it's just amateur hour.
Well, that thought brings me to the next thought, which is it looks like from some of the promotional photos that they brought out this past week, the font on the actual jerseys, the numbers and the player name on the back, will be staying the same, which almost looks like what do they call it? Copperplate Gothic. Very, very old at this point. And hopefully at some point, it's obviously not going to be this season, but there's an update to the numbers and the player names on the jerseys.
They look like the Senators numbers.
Yeah, very similar to the old Senators numbers from a couple seasons ago. Just hopefully that comes with an update over time. Maybe they'll see the product, the final jersey product on the ice this season, and there comes a change later on. But let's get to our ratings of this new logo. And Steve, we'll start with you.
You know what? I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. If you're comparing it to the old one, it's a 9 out of 10. I only say it's not a 10 out of 10 because there's just some minor issues that I have with it.
TC?
I'm in a giving mood. I'll throw a 9 in there as well. I think it's a very good-looking logo, especially for an amateur juniors team.
Yeah, and I'm not quite as high, but I would definitely give it an 8.5 out of 10. I think it's really strong. It's a really nice update. They've done a really good job of incorporating a word mark, which I always think is difficult to make look good. But this is really strong, and I'm going to give it an 8.5. So might as well just bump it up to a 9 because I don't feel like doing math. So for an average rating of 9 out of 10, that's pretty good for a junior Ontario Hockey League team. All right, let's move on to the next set of jerseys that came out this past week. And these are from the new ECHL team. This is the Maine Mariners. And they brought out jerseys. I guess you could say they're modeled after the Flyers template, but definitely different colors. One jersey is navy blue with white piping in the same style as the Flyers jersey going down the sleeves. We got green cuffs, Kelly green. And then on the hem, we have a thick white stripe, and below it is a thick Kelly green stripe. The white jersey, it follows the same pattern. It's got the green, Kelly green Flyer sleeves, white cuffs, and then it has a thick navy blue stripe on the bottom. And just above that is a thin white stripe and a thin Kelly green stripe. So the jerseys use the same template, but are slightly different. And we've seen the logos before. It has the Trident logo. They're using the old Maine Mariners logo. And then I don't know if we saw the State Outline logo, but they're also going to be using that. So we'll go to Steve first on your thoughts on these Maine Mariners jerseys.
Now, being a Penguins fan, I've never really liked the template for the Flyers itself, but this is the first team that I think has actually utilized it in a new way that actually looks good. That being said, the one thing that just annoys me is that it's Kelly green and yet they're using a lime green in the logos. That's one thing that kind of bugs me about it. But overall jersey design, I really like on the navy jersey how they don't actually have the shoulder striping, as I call it, a different color. They have it the same color as the jersey itself and then have the piping as a different. That's going to look really interesting when they're playing. And then just having the Kelly green extended cuffs, as well as just having the simple hem stripes there instead of anything outrageous. And then just going on the white jersey. The white jersey looks just very good with that green shoulder striping and the white everywhere else. And I think they did a pretty decent job color balancing. But like I said, just the only issue is that they use Kelly green for the jersey and lime green for the logos.
Let's go to TC. What do you think of these two jerseys that came out last week?
Basically, my review is almost completely opposite of Steve's. I love the Flyers template. I think they did a great job of it on one of the jerseys, the white one. The blue one, I think, completely misses the mark for me. The fact that they used the shoulder striping, as Steve put it, as the same color as the body of the jersey, and then just have the piping, I think that it looks like a phantom yoke run amok. I really don't like the fact that they used a different shade of green on the jersey than they did on the logos. That's something that easily could have been matched. I will say I really like the combination of the blue and green. I think it's a good color scheme, but once again, wish it matched. The shoulder patches, I think, are fantastic. I love the State Outline logo. It looks really sharp, and it's a great way to pay homage to the state. And you knew, there was a 99.99% chance that they were going to use the old Mariners logo in some capacity. So I think that was a good call, both in the fact that it's a good-looking logo and you're going to keep the fans happy. I'm trying to think if there's anything else about this set that I like. The main logo, when I first saw it, I didn't think it was going to work well on jersey. It actually looks a lot better than I thought it would, and the hem striping works really well. I will say I think the color balancing is a little off, considering they use blue as the primary color of the dark jersey, and with the exception of the hem stripe and some piping, it's playing second fiddle to the green.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to lean to more my review more towards TC's review here. I'm actually kind of let down by the jerseys here, so I'll start off with the lime green in the logos, and then the Kelly green used on the jerseys. And this is the biggest thing that gets me. It just comes across to me as that lime green that's in the logos is more of a custom green, and it appears that they didn't want to pay to do any sort of color matching with CCM. And they just went with something that's already templated, something that's already easy, a stock green color that they thought would go best with their logos.
And custom is not as expensive as people think. Going a custom color is not as expensive as you think it is. It's not like it was just 5 years ago. There's new technologies that you can get almost exactly to the match of any single color you want, and it's not going to affect the pricing.
Well, and on top of that, you had enough money to bring the damn team to Maine as it was. You can throw in the extra couple hundred to get them a decent looking uniform.
Yeah, and because I think they missed the mark with the color jersey here. This thing could have been lime green, and that would have just been, it would have been fantastic, and it would have been exciting, and it would have been unique, very similar to the way that the Oilers have just adopted orange as their home color jersey. So I think Maine could have done that here.
It would have been lovely. And it would have been like the Whalers.
Yes, and they could have mixed in their navy blue, and that lime with navy blue just would have looked really, really great. So I'm disappointed that they went with Kelly green here. Hopefully it wasn't a cost-cutting measure, but to me, looking at these, that was the first thing I thought. I think the shoulder patches are just fantastic, but again, the fact that they're lime green on the white jersey, they're lime green on both jerseys, but the lime green shoulder patches on the white jersey really stick out because they're on top of the Kelly green, and it doesn't look great. And I'm not a fan of the hem stripes from the blue jersey not matching the hem stripes on the white jersey. They're completely different. There's no tie in there. It just looks like they went with two different striping patterns, and I don't know the reason for that. I can't find too many things here that I really appreciate about the jersey, except for the logos, which it just seems like a separate team came up with the logos, and then a separate team was involved with getting the jerseys ready, and the two didn't have the same commitment levels. So let's go to our ratings, see what you guys think. We'll do it again out of 10. Steve, you go first. And we're looking at the jerseys here as a whole set.
As a whole set, including the logos?
Yeah, the whole presentation here, all together. Give it a big old rating.
All together, 7. It's not like super fantastic, but at the same time, it could be a lot worse.
TC?
I'm going to have to say a 6, and that's only because the white jersey really brings up the blue one.
Yeah, I'm going to throw it a 6 as well. Really disappointed in the jerseys. I would say the jerseys are a 3 for me, but that the primary logo, the main logo, really is done really, really well. So jerseys are a 3, logos are a 9. So the middle number there is 6. I'm going to have to give it another 6, which gives it an average rating of just over 6 between all three of us as a whole package. So that's unfortunate, but there are a lot of jersey changes in the ECHL. So hopefully these will be different in a few years. And now we're going to go to Throwback Throwdown. For this week's Throwback Throwdown, we're going back to the 1975-76 season, a season in which none of us were alive for here. But still, we're going to the west coast of the United States, the southern west coast. And in this week's Throwback Throwdown from 1975-76, we're pitting the California Golden Seals up against the Los Angeles Kings. In 75-76, the California Golden Seals were wearing teal, gold, and white. So they had a teal jersey for the road, and that had a big white hem stripe outlined in gold, and then two thin shoulder stripes, I guess you'd call them, running from the top of the shoulder down underneath the arm, and those are outlined in white again, or those are outlined in gold, pardon me. On the front is the Seals word mark in kind of a Bauhaus font, and again outlined in gold. The white jersey has the same features. Instead of white stripes, it has gold stripes outlined in teal, and the pants for this uniform were fantastic teal pants with kind of vintage, I don't know, double university striping. I don't know how to explain that, but that's just a side note. The LA Kings were wearing their classic form blue / purple and gold jerseys. These had the big broad arm stripes and then the full waist stripe with nothing underneath, the crown logo on the front, and exactly what you've been seeing them wear for their throwback nights for the past few seasons previous to 2017-18. So, Steve, let's go to you first with your California Golden Seals review.
So I look at these, and as much as I love the color scheme, and I love how so 70s it is, including the pants just have a sweet striping. I can't get past that striping they have that's right on the body of like the seam of the arms and the body. It reminds me of a basketball jersey. It's like when the NBA decided to go sleeve jerseys, and the Orlando Magic designed a sleeved jersey that looked like a normal jersey with guys wearing t-shirts under them. That's essentially what this reminds me of. But as a jersey as whole, it's a pretty aesthetically pleasing jersey. It really shouldn't be, being the colors, but it just is.
TC, what do you think of the Golden Seals here?
The Golden Seals had 3 main uniform sets over the years, and I think by far this is the strongest. I love this color scheme. I love the breezers. The breezers, for those of you that don't know, imagine you double up the striping from the original Canucks pants, and that's what you have. I'm going to disagree with Steve once again here. When you see it on a template, the striping up top on the shoulders, yeah, it doesn't look that great. But when it's actually on a player, I think it's fantastic look, and it's something unique that you see it and you know it's a Seals jersey.
Yeah, I love the color scheme, as we've all said, I think. I'm just a huge fan of those shoulder stripes. I get what Steve is saying, but I didn't actually see it until he mentioned it. So I'm going to kind of exclude it from my review, because when I was thinking about my review, I wasn't seeing this kind of sleeve basketball jersey kind of style here. But I love the word mark on the front.
No, you can't unsee it.
I can't unsee it, so it's going to be difficult. But everything about this screams awesome 70s, from the colors to the word mark on the front to just the stripes and kind of hockey in California still trying to find its way. Just everything about this is so 70s and so awesome. And maybe it's for bad reasons or maybe it's for good reasons, but I am very much a fan of these jerseys. Let's go to the Los Angeles Kings now. And you guys can tell me, I think LA is more southern than San Fran, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Just checking. I thought it was, but gotta bone up on my geography. So let's go to the south to the Los Angeles Kings, playing out of the Great Western form at this time, wearing form blue and gold. Steve, what do you think of these rather classic jerseys now?
Exactly what you think. They're classic. The original crown logo on there with just looks so majestic, right on a bright yellow and bright forum blue, which is actually purple. I don't give a crap what you say about it. But just the fact that it's a large stripe, it works. It's almost balances the color well. And I only say almost because there's just, being it's yellow for the one, it's so bright, so you almost need more of a opposing color to tone it down. But for the striping, it really works. And my favorite was that they went all yellow for this year. So they went yellow pants and yellow socks.
And Butch Goring was on the team, so he was even wearing a yellow helmet.
Oh my God, I know. And fun fact, there is a team that does that at the ACH level, and that is San Jose State.
Nice.
Spartans?
Yep, the Spartans.
Yep.
Look it up. It's an all yellow jersey. They have both yellow and blue pants, and that's exactly what this reminds me of, or they remind me of this. Only this is another thing that screams 70s to me. It's just the colors, the style, the logo, even just the choice in pants. It all screams 70s to me.
TC, Los Angeles Kings.
I will agree that this is a classic uniform. When I like to think about the Kings, I think about them in these. But the fact of the matter is, it's just a Red Wings copy. Like, it's just a copy of the Red Wings with slightly thicker arm striping. And, you know, I love the fact that they could choose the yellow or the purple pants. But it's just, hey, here's a team that's been around a lot longer than us. Let's take their design and hope no one notices because we put it in new colors and thickened up the striping a little bit. I think the ones that they introduced in 80, those are a lot better. They're a little more unique. And I know people love this design, but I can't get over the fact that it's essentially just a Red Wings clone.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Again, it's just kind of a simple striping pattern, so what else are you going to do? But the thing for me, I know people love this crown logo. I always found it too complicated. The crown is too decorated for me. And I also think these jerseys looked 100 times better when they were slapped on the Reebok Edge template. I think they looked fantastic on the Reebok Edge template. Looking at a 1975-76 template, this jersey looks very boring to me, unexciting. I do love the number style. It's kind of a very simple kind of boxy play on a standard block font. I love the gold pants on the gold jersey, but because it's so bad is the reason I love it. And because it seems like such a 70s idea to just go all gold, socks, jersey, pants. So, I mean, it is a classic jersey, but I think it's just a classic jersey because of it's just remembered from back in the day. It's not necessarily a great jersey. It's just acknowledged as, oh, this is from back in the day, and then Marcel Dion wore this, or, you know, the Kings are they're 50 years old or whatever. So this is kind of a classic
I'd also
jersey.
like to bring something up real quick.
Yeah.
They were one of the few teams who did not have a white jersey. So they didn't have a white jersey until about 88, till the 88-89 season.
So Gretzky arrived.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gretzky.
So during that entire time, the NHL allowed them to be either purple or yellow. Never a white jersey. A white jersey was never mandatory for them.
Gotta respect that. That's good. Gotta respect that.
I know. Gotta.
All right, so let's go and pick our winner for this week's edition of Throwback Throwdown, the 1975-76 California edition of Throwback Throwdown. Go ahead, Steve. Who are you taking?
I gotta take the Seals just because it feels so much more 70s than the Kings. The Kings are kind of like, you could even throw that in probably the 50s, towards the middle 50s. You could even say that was a design that they could have gotten away with, but the seals design is just something that could have only been brought up in the 70s. So, California seals all the way.
1 for the Golden Seals. TC?
Or. Get 2 for the seals. It's just a glorious color scheme. It's got a really unique feature in the shoulder stripe. And again, like Steve said, these uniforms could have happened in any era. They managed to get away with it in the 30s when the Red Wings first started wearing this design. So I got to give the Seals the win for the color scheme, the originality, and the fact that every time I see this uniform, I just imagine a man on the ice with a big old porno mustache and a perm.
Yeah. Yes. And I'm going to make it a clean sweep for the Seals for that exact reason. I'm picturing a 70s flow with a big dark mustache on a defenseman who's just going back for the puck, and he decides he's not going to win that race, so he's going to maul the forward. And the referee, the little puny referee, says, yep, that's good. And that's 70s hockey right there. Men in teal and gold jerseys and big mustaches and big hair skating around. So for the clean sweep in the California 75-76 battle, the California Golden Seals with this win on Throwback Throwdown. Fake or authentic? Fake or authentic is my favorite part of the podcast, and this is where I've come up with 3 statements based on my own personal opinion. And just like the jerseys you see around NHL rinks, you have to determine whether or not it's fake or authentic. Here we go. Statement number 1. I prefer a team keep their identity forever, like the Chicago Blackhawks, rather than change every 20 years like the Dallas Stars / Minnesota North Stars franchise. Steve, fake or authentic?
I'm going to have to pull a Beepo on this one.
Uh-oh.
And this is why. Because you're trying to state of a team who has a very good identity like the Chicago Blackhawks. They've only ever had to tweak it. They've never had to do any significant changes that would have caused anything like that. The teams like Dallas or Minnesota, on the other hand, they never really had jerseys that were hits. I mean, Dallas had the star pattern jersey, but that got ruined by Reebok. Otherwise, we'd probably still be seeing it here, talking about them, similar to Chicago. Now, do I enjoy seeing teams wear the same design year after year after year after year after year? Some, yes, but I don't think all teams should wear the same design year after year after year. So what I'm going to have to say on this is fake.
Fake for Steve. TC?
I think I'm going to have to also go fake on this one. Just because, we can call back on that Throwback Throwdown we just did. Those are uniforms that you could get away with in the 70s, and they worked in the 70s, but you can't pull that off today. Like, through the good and the bad, there are eras of hockey jersey design, and some uniforms work perfectly during their era, but would be a mockery in any other era. The exception to the rule is original 6 teams. I think with teams like that, where you have that long history, it's better to stick with what you know and what you've built a brand around. But with teams that were expansion teams, definitely give it a shot, freshen up your look, if only to sell more jerseys.
All right, good stuff.
And keep people like us in work.
Good stuff there. I thought you guys were definitely going to make a comment about me being Mr. Classic jersey and never wanting to see changes from the old stuff, but that's all right. We got through a segment so far without doing that.
Back in my day, 3 stripes was an extravagance.
3 stripes. What the hell are they trying to do? All right, fake or authentic number 2. January 1st should be a throwback day in the NHL. So we should have the Winter Classic followed by 2 direct throwback games. So in a format kind of like a noon for the Winter Classic, like a 5 or 7 p.m. Eastern for the next game. And then a West Coast late night game. All the late 2 should be direct throwbacks. Winter Classic, keep with the format they have. But January 1st should be a throwback day. Fake or authentic, Steve?
You know what? I'm going to go fake on this one. I think that January 1st should be Winter Classic only, because I think that's just a day where only 2 teams should just share it. It's a special day. It's the beginning of the new year. Now, should I think that the NHL should adopt a throwback system where they instill throwback games similar to what the MLB does? Heck yeah, I think that. I would love to see a 90s version of the Dallas Stars playing the Phoenix Coyotes. Or I would love to see much older, much older, I'm talking 50s or 60s, Boston Bruins playing the Maple Leafs. That would be nice to see on a night. The NHL could play it off. They could play it on the NHL Network, or they could put it on prime time, and that would be the game that you'd see for the week. They could do it weekly. But do I think it should be done have more than 1 throwback game on January 1st? No.
TC, fake or authentic for a January 1st throwback day?
When I first saw this question, I was going to be authentic, but Steve may have swayed me. I have to go fake on this one. I do think that they should have throwback days, but I kind of like the idea of just keeping the Winter Classic as the 1 game on the 1st. And the throwback days, I do think that it should be regulated for certain teams with a better repertoire. Like, should Nashville wear a throwback? Absolutely not. Never bring those jerseys back to the line. Would I love to see the Kings in purple and gold again from the 80s? Not the one we just reviewed, but the far superior purple and gold. I would love to see that. So I think if we institute it not on the 1st, and you have to choose certain teams for it.
All right, good stuff. And the final fake or authentic question. Fake or authentic? I would rather own a blank Sabres Adidas jersey, road jersey, the white one, than a signed number 15 Jack Eichel Fanatics jersey. So rather own the blank Adidas white jersey than a signed number 15 Jack Eichel jersey. Steve?
Fake. I'd rather have Eichel's autograph. I don't care if it's Fanatics at this point. It's still going to be worth something. It's going to be worth more than an Adidas Authentics jersey.
TC?
I will also go fake because I'll just sell that shit on eBay, buy myself the authentic Adidas one, and still have money left over.
All right, so this question came from just the fact that I absolutely hate autographs on jerseys. I have this situation in my head where this player's autographing stuff. He's just in autograph mode. He's in robot mode, and he goes to take the Sharpie to one of my jerseys, and I have to cross my arms and stop him. Like, no, don't touch the jersey. I'd rather just say hi to you than you put your name on my jersey. Yeah. I absolutely hate autographs on jerseys.
But you just say that because you don't own an Atlanta Thrashers original home with Danny Heatley's Rookie of the Year autograph.
That's just far superior. I could never hope to ever own anything like that. The only thing that would be better is if he wrote "Keep on Truckin'" or something like that.
You should find Danny Heatley and ask him just to write your name on it, or write something stupid on there. something like, please obtain to the restraining order. Something like that.
Danny Heatley, ×1 Rookie of the Year, ×1 vehicular homicide. All right.
Remember, kids, always obey the speed limit.
Oh, that's a rabbit hole.
Never drive a Mazda.
Hey, I used to drive a Mazda. All right.
How many people did you kill?
0, so I'm doing better than Danny. You want me to sign your jersey?
Always.
Oh, let's go to the mailbag.
Mailbag.
All right, this is the HJC Mailbag, and this is where we take questions from you. You can leave them on the form, which is left on hockeyjerseyconcepts.com, or, as I mentioned at the top of the podcast, you can email in a question anytime, mailbag@hockeyjerseyconcepts.com. Let's go to one that was left from Anonymous nearly a month ago. Have you ever noticed a detail about a jersey? Have you ever not noticed a detail about a jersey until you added it to your collection? Steve.
I can't think of an instance where, not for a hockey jersey, I'll say that. Usually I like to do my homework on hockey jerseys first and look at all the tiny little details before I purchase it. But not in that instance has that ever happened on a hockey jersey for me.
TC?
Before I answer the question, I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say that this question was submitted by our own Sean, also known as Jets96, after he discovered the wasp striping on his Columbus Blue Jackets jersey. Feel free to let me know if I was right or wrong, Sean. You know how to reach me. But I will say this has happened to me twice. Once I got a Chicago Wolves jersey, and I didn't realize that the eyes on the jersey are actually like a holographic material, so they will shine in the light, which I thought was a really cool feature.
That's pretty cool.
And then the other was I didn't realize until I got a Turd Burger that it uses 17 different shades of gray throughout the jersey. Like it's just a nightmare of different shades of gray, and you really can't understand it until you see it up close. It boggles the mind.
It's like the ninth wonder of the world.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hope a Turd Burger never ends up in the Hockey Hall of Fame unless they do a bad jersey exhibit. That would be good. I'd totally pay entrance admission to the Hockey Hall of Fame to go see a bad jersey exhibit. That'd be fantastic. If I'm answering this question, I've never haven't seen something different on a hockey jersey after I've added it to my collection. Like Steve mentioned, I like to go through the details of a jersey, and maybe that's why I want some random jersey rather than that people look past, because I've seen this detail when it first came out. But there is one thing I did notice, and I bought a pair of game-used Maple Leaf socks. This was maybe 5 or 10 years ago. And I had always thought that the stripes on the socks were stitched on in the same way that they were on the jersey, but it turns out they were sublimated. Leafs used sublimated socks back in the day. I don't know if they still do now, but when they had lots of stripes on their socks, they used sublimated socks. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and not going to lie, a little disappointed. I would have liked to have some stitched on stripes there. Let's go to another question. This is from our very own Beepo, live from the fence. Well, live as far as June 11th goes. From the fence, what is your Stanley Cup prediction for next year? Let's go crazy. Stanley Cup predictions for next year. Steve.
Oh, Jesus Lord.
Jesus for the Stanley Cup next year. We got it.
I don't know. I can't even begin to think just of what's been going on so far lately and everything. So people are saying that the Penguins are going to go back to it. To be honest, even as a fan, I don't know if that's going to happen. I think Vegas is going to try and push to at least get back there, but they're not going to win again just because they're going to end up going against either Tampa Bay, who's still going to be good. I would probably say, can't even think, maybe Toronto, to be honest. Toronto could be a sleeper that could make it all there, but other than that, I can't even begin to think.
TC, early and wild prediction for Stanley Cup champion for 2019.
Cup champion, fair warning, y'all are going to hear a shout from Winnipeg pretty soon. I'm going to pick the Jets over the Lightning.
That's a solid pick.
I just think
I'd have to agree with that.
The Jets, they really showed what they had in them this past season, and
they just lost Stastny though.
Yeah,
they were fine though. During 2017-18, they were fine before they had Stastny, and then when they picked him up, that made them even better. But I think they'll be fine.
I think they've got the grit.
Yeah. They have the whole package. I really like Winnipeg coming out of the West. And they got Big Buff.
Yeah.
Hopefully he doesn't pack on too many pounds during the summer.
He can take on an entire team by himself.
He could take on a herd of buffaloes.
He probably goes out into the wilderness and wrestles bears. Just for fun.
That's his off-season. That's his off-season routine. An hour in the gym, carbo load, bear wrestling, Dustin Bufflin.
No,
he spends his weekends hanging out on highways, just tackling tractor trailers. He's the number one cause of auto accidents in eastern Winnipeg.
No, he's gonna be like Bo Jackson, go hunt for a deer, and then just kills it with like his Bowie knife or something like that. Then just slings it over his back. He just grabs it by
the antlers and bites its neck.
and then just slings it over his shoulder and marches like 20 miles back to the inland, back to civilization, and that's his exercise.
His off-season routine becomes a reality show on like National Geographic Channel. Dustin Bufflin, outdoors man. What are you going to do today, Buff? Well, there's a herd of coyotes out back that I really want to take care of. So I'm going to take my shirt off.
That's been really fucking mouthy lately. I think I got to put him in his place. He's been chirping a lot.
Buff, don't you want a gun? No, I got these. Righty and lefty. Let's go take care of this thing. All right, before this gets out of control. Wild Stanley Cup prediction, because there's no way to tell. But seeing as we're recording on July 1st, I'll take the Leafs because they might have done a little bit of business today. And actually, we were going to have Phil on today's podcast, but he's at home crying himself to sleep because John Tavares... I can
faintly hear it all the way in Pittsburgh.
John Tavares left the Islanders and joined the Maple Leafs today. So I'll just throw it Leafs as my early pick. And also Vegas. Vegas shot up the Leafs to the top of the Stanley Cup odds after they picked up John Tavares. But in all seriousness, their defense is not good enough to get the job done. So it'll be interesting. Maybe it's going to be like Oilers of the 80s where they're like, sure, you go ahead and score 5 and we're going to score 8. So that's how the Leafs are going to handle business this year. And let me cycle through some of the other questions here. You know what? We're going to save some for few. Here's a good one. And we talked about it last week, so this applies. And this one's from Burkus Circus. Is the new Hurricanes alternate better than the old one? Quickly, Steve.
Hell no.
TC?
Negative, Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you guys. The new Hurricanes alternate is just really terrible and definitely not better than the old alternate. Thank you, everyone.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
I do have a question. What looks better? The throwback done on the Adidas or the original of the Arizona Coyote Kachina jersey?
Well,
What do you say, Ryan?
They both suck, so I do not like them. But
You shut your whore mouth.
Will you just pick one?
Why
Which
can't-
one looks
you
better
know what?
to you?
The jerseys suck. The Adidas ones look better, but it's,
Okay, TC, what looks better?
I, as much as I hate to admit it, I think the collar treatment that Adidas did is a lot more understated, and I think they pulled it off really well. So I'll give it to Adidas.
You know what? A rotting carcass is still a rotting carcass. It doesn't matter how well you dress it up. So this thing,
And you know what? The Leafs not winning the cup since what, the 60s?
67.
Leafs not.
67.
What?
1967 was the last time they won the cup.
Oh, so when they expanded.
Just before.
So ever since it got past the 6 teams, Toronto has not been able to win a Stanley Cup.
That's correct. Yes, I always like to measure it in this way. Since the Leafs last won the Stanley Cup, man had not gone to the moon. But, 2 years after that, they did go to the moon. And we've gone to the moon so many times that we've now done everything we've wanted to do pretty much on the moon. And now we're going
fuck
to
the moon.
fuck the moon. And now we're going to Mars, and the Leafs still haven't won the Stanley Cup. Not only have they not won the Stanley Cup, they have not even appeared in a Stanley Cup final. So, things are good.
How about this? They win a Stanley Cup before man actually attempts to make it to Mars. I will send you $20.
Sweet deal. I'm rolling in it now.
That's like 800 Canadian,
Yeah,
right?
you might as well. Yeah, if you could throw that in a treasure chest or like a briefcase, and I want to open it and it glows gold when I open it. What do you got in there, bud? Oh, it's a 20 from down south, eh? No way. Yeah.
You better handcuff that in your arm.
I'm taking this down and buying my local Tim Hortons, eh? This is a good
This
one.
is made out of actual paper, and it's the color money should be. And there's no old drag queen on it.
That is the queen. Not a drag queen. That is the queen on our money.
Here's the thing. I've always wondered. So, Prince Harry just got married.
Yep.
At his bachelor party, did he get kicked out by the strippers with money in their G-string and just watching these women take their clothes off with his grandmother staring back at him?
That is awkward.
I don't think he thought about that. I think at that
How do you
point,
not?
I think at that point it's like, don't think about. He's like putting in the back of his mind, don't think about, just look at the ladies, look good. Darn it!
Oh,
I stared
yeah.
at the bill.
You dirty slut. Why don't you lick my nan's face?
You look so hot. Here, have a picture of my grandma.
Wait,
Believe me, I've tried it. It doesn't work at strip clubs.
Do you know my grandma? She's on every friggin' bill. Have one. Oh, man. Okay, well, that was our very excellent edition of the Jersey Nerds podcast. That was episode 37. Thanks, Steve, TC. This one was a good one.
my pleasure.
Always fun.
All right, good stuff there. Also, we have the Jersey Casual stuff up. Anything new there, Steve, or anything exciting?
I'm working on a few designs, but right now it's trying to balance back and forth between projects.
All right, excellent. Well, the Jersey Casual stuff is always a good pickup. We were just talking this week on the Writers Chat how a few of us have been noticed for the Jersey Casual stickers. So get your stickers, get your T-shirts, get your iPhone cases, whatever you can find on Redbubble. Get your Jersey Casual designs on there. because people
They
do
have a
notice them.
lovely duvet cover.
Oh, anyone who gets the Jersey Casual duvet cover and sends in a picture of it gets an automatic entry into the monthly vote for Concept of the Week. Anybody who buys a Jersey Casual duvet cover and sends us a picture gets an automatic guaranteed entry into the monthly vote for Concept of the Week. So let's see.
I recently learned this by trying to shop for a duvet cover. Our custom printed ones are about the same price as the ones you can find at Target.
There you go. You need
Is
to
that
get
a
on.
lot?
Yeah, it's a ludicrous amount of money.
Come on, don't.
Or what I think, because I shop at the dollar store and Walmart.
So that being said, we're gonna get TC. TC, when's your birthday?
May 29th. Thanks for remembering.
We just missed it. Well, that's okay. Mine's in less than a month.
You missed it by a month.
There you go. These are
over a month, just over.
These are ample opportunities for everyone to purchase the Jersey Casual duvet cover. Remember, free entry. No, I'm going to bump it up. If you get the Jersey Casual duvet cover, free entry into Concept of the Year semifinals. There you go. Get your Jersey Casual duvet covers now. You got to send us in a picture though. We need to see it. All right. We also have the Concept of the Week Concept of the Week vote going on as we do every week, and coming very soon is the HJC Open Tournament. So keep your eyes on the blog for that. And if you're listening to this podcast on the week that it came out, coming out this week will be the pairs competition, 2018 pairs competition entries. They will be posted this week. And of course, you get involved in everything we've talked about this week on the podcast. Connect with us on Twitter at HockeyJC or email us anytime, mailbag at hockeyjerseyconcepts.com. Thanks for listening, everybody, and goodbye.